Hey, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It's Wednesday afternoon, December the 7th, and I just want to it's been kind of a crazy day, so I didn't have time to do any trade examples today and so forth. I've just really been tied up all day with all kind of crazy things. But what I did want to do is just quickly show you that even on a choppy range type day, that you still get great trends and that the trend line rules still come into play. And if you back out and look at the big picture today, you can see that over here, here's the start of the day yesterday at 3:30, and here's the end of the day today at 3:15, and this includes all the overnight. So I always use a 24-hour chart. Sometimes people ask me that, but I always use a 24-hour chart because the stuff that happens in the overnight to me is relevant because it usually gives you a good idea of your trend lines for the day, and it also gives you a good idea of where your highs and lows are going to be for the day. So this is approximately, let me show you right here, what we would have seen at the open today, right about here. And I already had my lines drawn right here across that double bottom. I usually use the closes, so that's why it's drawn right there. And then I had it drawn up here across this double top up here. We did break above a little higher, so you could have moved it up here, but we tried to get up there twice again and made that double top, so I placed it right there. And as you can see, you could have easily had this trend line drawn off these first two swings right here, and you can see that held to play until right here where we got the break. And look what happened. We know not to go long until there's been a retest. We did have the retest down to a new low, and then look, price is reversed. And what you can expect after that trend line break and the retest, once the reversal starts, it doesn't mean the trend's going to reverse, even though a lot of times the trend will reverse, but what it actually means is that you're going to get at least a two-legged correction that's going to last for around an hour or so. And that's usually the minimum of what you can expect. Now, nothing's written in stone. Anything can always happen. But that's generally what you can expect. And then you can see we had a trend line that started up after we had the trend line break here in the new low. And you had a good idea that this trend was over when we made this new low, when we tried to go lower right here and failed and couldn't go any lower. Let me back out and just make it a little bigger for you so you can see it. But you can see we had that trend line coming down. We made the new low. We broke the trend line here. We made the new low. We failed right here. We started higher. But we had this previous support up here, and you can see how it came into play and it acted as resistance. So as long as it's acting as resistance now, we're thinking shorts. But so you could have got another short and rode this down. We weren't looking for longs yet. But now we got the new low. We got a failed break lower, and we're trending higher. And notice how I drew my line off those first couple of swings there. And watch how this comes into play. Right here, it comes into play. It's going to come back into play again right in here. And then we broke it right here. But remember, we always wait for the retest. So we broke the trend line right here. And now look at this retest. That was a beautiful retest. And this was a beautiful long here because they trapped everybody short. Look right across here at this strong resistance area. And I probably would have had mine drawn off the closes, which was right across there. And look what happened when we broke lower. We trapped everybody short, and then prices reversed. And look at that move up we had. Beautiful move up. The break of the trend line, we pretty much had the move up. Look how we stalled and couldn't go higher, just like we couldn't stall and couldn't go lower here. And then what happens? The market comes back up and tests that high again, and then we get a sell-off. And remember what I said a minute ago. The sell-off doesn't mean the trend's necessarily reversing. It just means you're going to get a correction of at least two swings. It's going to last approximately an hour. So we made this high about noontime, Central Time. And look, we trended down to about 2 o'clock. So that was about a 2-hour correction. There's a few swings in there. If you got out and measured them, you'd probably find there's 2 measured legs in there somewhere. And then look what happened. We failed to go lower here again, and we made a couple of higher highs, and then look, prices are off to the races. But look, even here you had a trend line break and 2 legs down to a new low, even on this little minor trend. And you could have drawn this trend line even like this, but you can see how flat that is, and It's really flat, but you can see prices did kind of stall there when they came back through it again, but the trend didn't really reverse until right here, so that's why I drew it there. And generally your best trends are going to be about 45 degrees, so if they're any steeper than that or any flatter than that, then they're generally not going to last very long. So generally look for your trend lines to be, and you probably could have drawn this one like that right there. It would have been fine to draw it just like that. You can see we broke the trend line, 2 legs down to a new low, and then it reversed. And now we're going higher. So then I draw my trend line off the first couple of swings down here. And then as you can see, prices rocketed higher. Trend line came back into play here, and then here's the end of the day. So hopefully you see that. And then look what happened up here at the high where I drew that line this morning. That's where we reversed. So you would have known to look to go short there. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up today, and believe it or not, I'm going to be well under 10 minutes. I'm just over 6 minutes today, so I'm making progress. But hopefully you see that today, how important and how easy the trend lines will tell you when to expect the reversal. And they will tell you, and sure, you might get caught if you tried to buy, just to give you an example, if you tried to, or really there was no fake out right here, even if you bought here or here, you still would have had enough room to scalp out. And so like right here, you could have got caught right here, but you see prices never broke above that high, which is where I likely would have had my stop. And then you had then prices come on down, and right here you could have got, if you'd have went short right there, you'd have still had enough room to scalp out. If you'd have went short right there was room to scalp out. So generally the trend line is going to give you the clue as to when to call it a day and when to call the trend or start looking for the trend to enter. Well, always remember we're going to get a retest of some kind, and a lot of people might have got fooled and thought that was all the retest there was right there. But you notice we didn't really touch the trend line there. That could have meant the market was stronger, but we had never really tested this breakout area real good, and so they were not giving up on that test yet, and they tested a couple of times before prices finally went on down. So just remember, draw your support and your resistance. And again, we knew that we'd probably get a reversal right in here of some kind, or get some kind of support resistance area, because I drew it right there off the lows of the overnight, and here was the highs of the overnight. And remember what happened when prices got up here this afternoon? Turned to it, on it to the tick. So if you know where these areas are, you can take advantage of them and use them to your advantage to make trade decisions and know where to enter and exit. If you've got a runner coming down through here, you might want to exit right in here. And by the time we, of course, today, a lot of time, well, you can see it actually did get some resistance right there, but usually you'll get a bigger bounce than that. But the market was just really weak, and we were probably trying to make the second part of this leg, then the reversal, and then this leg. And I bet you, if you measure this, these are going to be fairly close. No, not really. But when we came up way short here, that was a good signal or good sign that the market was going to reverse. That means the market's stronger than what it should have been, or else we would have probably had more of a measured move there. So anyway, this is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and I hope everybody's had a good week so far and a good day today. And we've got a couple more days this week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to trade tomorrow. I may take Friday off, so if so, we may not have a chart lesson on Friday. But this is Mike with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and I'll see you next time.